On my mind of late has been something interesting, and it came about because I was watching a master class put on by Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney. In that masterclass, he said, I am a perfectionist. I am looking for the pursuit of perfection. Now, in the past, that would have ruffled my feathers in quite a different way, but today, I think I see how you can be a perfectionist. And that's what we're going to talk about today on the Streaking Podcast. So let's start streaking. What is streaking and why should you do it?
Streaking is how you set up personal winning streaks. Look at who you want to be and what you need to do to become that person. This is streaking.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Jamie.
And we are streakers. Through 30 years of marriage and 7 children, we have learned the power of consecutive consistency or streaking.
To start streaking is simple. You just follow these 3 laws. Make it laughably simple, keep a record, and join the streaking community.
Streaking is your hidden superpower. With it, you will consistently progress and grow in whatever area of life you want.
In this podcast, Jeff and I will share all the fun, exciting, serious, solemn, wonderful parts of family, spiritual, professional, and personal life, and how streaking powers it all.
So join us in the conversation, join the movement, and start streaking today. In 1903, the Wright brothers did what everyone said was impossible. They flew. Now, if social media existed back then, we'd probably see a perfect, filtered photo of Orville Wright with the caption, "First successful flight, #born to fly, #nailed it." And we'd think, wow, they just had a great idea and boom, aviation was born. What we wouldn't see are the years of failed prototypes, the busted up gliders, and Wilbur yelling, "Orville, you broke another one?" Before their first successful flight, they had hundreds of failures. They were bike mechanics, not trained aeronautical engineers. They didn't have PhDs. They had wrenches, some wood, and an unhealthy tolerance for crash landings. But here's the thing. They didn't wait for perfection to start. They kept tweaking, testing, failing, adjusting, and eventually, through sheer persistence, they got it right. And that's what we miss when we talk about perfection. But the truth is, perfection is where we arrive after persistence. Today, let's talk a little bit about how daily streaks and persistence of action over time are the secret to achieving anything worthwhile. Let's start by redefining perfection. We love the idea of an overnight success. We're in love with it, right? We hear about the genius who wrote a best-selling book in a weekend, the prodigy who picked up a guitar at age 3 and started shredding like Jimi Hendrix. And we assume, well, if I don't get it right the first time, maybe I'm just not meant to do it. Wrong. Let me tell you about a guy named Demosthenes. Now, I know that name sounds like a prescription medication, but stay with me. Demosthenes was an Athenian statesman and an orator, basically a motivational speaker before TED Talks were cool. But here's the thing. He was a terrible speaker. Imagine the worst speech you've ever heard. Now imagine that speech being delivered by a guy who mumbles, stutters, and sounds like he has marbles in his mouth. And actually, he did. His speeches were so bad that people literally booed him off the stage. Now, most people would have quit. But Demosthenes, he went full Rocky Balboa training montage. He shaved half his head so he wouldn't be tempted to go outside and socialize. He put pebbles in his mouth to force himself to enunciate. He practiced yelling speeches over crashing waves to strengthen his voice day after day, streak after streak. And years later, he became one of the greatest orators in history, not because he was perfect from the start, but because he persisted. Let's talk about Diana Nade. Diana was a long-distance swimmer who had a completely rational dream: swim 110 miles from Cuba to Florida. No shark cage, no stopping, just Diana, the ocean, and a whole lot of regret. She tried 5 times, and 5 times she failed. Now, at that point, most people would say, maybe my talent is knitting, but not Diana. The first time, she was pulled out because of hypothermia. The second time, severe dehydration. The third time, jellyfish. And not the cute SpongeBob kind, the ones that shut down your nervous system. In fact, she almost died. But instead of quitting, she persisted. She adjusted her technique. She designed a new jellyfish-proof mask, and she kept swimming. Now get this. At age 64, she became the first person in history to complete the swim. Think about that. At 64, when most people are considering a nice retirement home in Florida, Diana was swimming to Florida. Her exact words when she finished, never, ever give up. And that's the thing about persistence. It turns failure into fuel. So how does streaking turn persistence into perfection? Let's make it practical. How do we take the power of persistence and apply it in real life? And this is where streaking comes in. A streak, a small, daily, non-negotiable action, and I do mean non-negotiable action, that compounds over time. One of my favorite examples, Buckminster Fuller. Now, if you don't know who that is, picture a guy who looks like Albert Einstein, but with way cooler glasses. Buckminster Fuller was an inventor, architect, and all-around genius. But at one point, he hit rock bottom. He was broke, jobless. He even considered ending his own life. But instead, he made a commitment. He started testing small daily improvements, everything from sleep patterns, to new ways of thinking. One of his biggest experiments, the Dymaxion sleep cycle. He tested a radical sleep method, taking a 30-minute nap every 6 hours instead of sleeping at night. For 2 years, he refined his energy focus and productivity. And whether or not the sleep cycle worked long-term, his streak of testing and improving led him to over 30 inventions, including the geodesic dome, one of the most revolutionary architectural designs ever created. And his philosophy? Small, consistent actions, is this sounding familiar, lead to genius-level outcomes. So, what's going to be your streak for mastery? What is, as is popularized out there, your 10,000 hours? What's your streak? If you are wanting to be a great writer, commit to at least one sentence every day. If you want to become a great speaker, commit to 5 sentences, 10 sentences of practice every day. If you're in sales, commit to at least 1 extra call per day or 1 extra practice. You're not going to be perfect today and not to be great tomorrow, but to build something extraordinary over time. Because here's the truth. Perfection, it's not a talent. It's not luck. It's not even genius. Perfection is what happens when persistence refuses to quit. And the only thing standing between you and the extraordinary is the decision to start your streak today. So, keep your streak alive, because persistence leads to perfection. As you go about your persistence in streaking, as you give yourself that non-negotiable, I'm absolutely going to do this simple, small act every single day, you will find huge, huge success in your life. So after everything, think of those stories and many more that we could tell. And remember, when it comes down to it, to just keep streaking. If you'd like to comment on this or anything else, please do so. Shoot me an email at Jeffrey, Jeffrey, at mystreaksapp.com. Jeffrey, Jeffrey, at mystreaksapp.com. Love to hear from you at any time. Until we talk again, I hope that you have a marvelous, fantastic, wonderful day. And as always, keep streaking.